In this episode, I talk about how to automate your online course marketing.
Welcome to the Online Course Coach Podcast, brought to you by TrueFocusMedia.com. Whether you're a beginner or expert, this is the podcast for the latest in online course creation tips, news, interviews, and ideas. And here's your coach, Jeff Long.
Welcome back to another episode of the Online Course Coach Podcast. This is an honest, no hype podcast to help you, the course creator, build your impact and your income. Now, I realize that online courses are just a part of your overall business. And so I love talking about business. I love talking about growing your business. And obviously, talking about courses is the keystone of this podcast and all these episodes. But today I want to talk about marketing. And really, marketing is the lifeblood of your business and selling more courses. So I don't want you to be scared of marketing. And I know I've talked about marketing in past episodes. There's videos on my website about marketing because, like I said, it's the lifeblood of your business and selling more courses. You know, how else are you going to sell courses if nobody knows about your course, all right? And I've seen that time and again where people create courses and it's maybe on their website or maybe on, Thinkific or Teachable or something like that, but they don't really tell many people about it. And they kind of are embarrassed that their course is not selling well. Well, of course it's not selling well because you're not marketing your course. All right, so I believe that you are truly helping people when you make people aware of your course. And that has to do even with your broader business. You're helping people by offering your service, your product, your coaching, your course, whatever you have. It is to help other people. It's not just to put money in your pocket. That's kind of the byproduct or the benefit to you, but it's truly about helping other people. Because, they have a problem and your course offers that solution. And again, you could zoom out to your whole business. Your audience, your students, your customers, your clients, they have problems, that they're trying to solve in their own life, in their own business, with their families, with their colleagues. And you can solve those problems. Now, here's the thing. You do need to know what those problems are. So you can do that through surveys. You can do that through, asking people or looking at reviews or going to Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups. There's ways to figure out what people's problems are. The more specific you know what those problems are, the more you can address them. The more knowledgeable you are about your audience and their struggles, the more specific your courses can be. Because you know your audience so well, it'll almost be like reading their minds in a good way. I think I talked about this in one of my previous podcasts. I recently hired a coach myself. There's a course component to that. And one of the reasons I hired him was because the promotional material, the marketing he was doing spoke directly to me. It was like, man, I'm trying to solve those problems in my life. If I could just solve X, Y, or Z, hey, that would be fantastic. The heavens would open up and angels would sing and all that good stuff. And so there were a couple other coaches I was considering that had specialties in certain areas, but this one talked the most and the best about my problems, my pain points, and how to solve those without, adding complexity to my life. And that just spoke to me. So make sure to know your audience's struggles and goals and why your course or your business or your services or whatever can address those. So today we'll be talking about that, how to automate your online course marketing. Because like I said at the beginning, marketing is the lifeblood of your business and selling more courses. But hey, right before we jump into the strategies, I want to talk about the upcoming masterclass I'll be hosting on January 15th at 2 p.m. If you're listening to this after January 15th, I should have the masterclass posted on the website. In this masterclass, I'll be going over 40 ways to sell your course through all stages of course creation. So if you're brand new, if you don't have an audience, if you don't even have a course, I will be addressing specific strategies that you can start marketing yourself, your course, building your audience, and I'll give you creative ways to grow your influence and awareness of your course. So while while the training will be geared towards marketing your courses, you can even use these strategies to promote your other products or services. So it is course specific, but and I'm looking over most of these strategies right now, most of the 40 plus, and you can use, probably many of these in your business as a whole. So it's kind of a double whammy. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I want it to be a live, interactive masterclass with other motivated course creators. And so, you can ask questions, you can give feedback, you can, say your exact scenario that you have in mind. And so it's really going to be in-depth. I'll give tips and resources, my proven systems. I'm actually constantly adding to this list. In fact, as I was prepping for this podcast, I was like, oh, this would be another great marketing strategy that I'm not going to be able to have time in this podcast episode, but it'll be added to the masterclass. In fact, I'm up to almost 45 and going strong here. So anyway, and so I'll be addressing how to market your course before, during, and after the launch of your course. So many of these 40 marketing strategies, in a way, you could triple that amount, right? Because I'll be saying, hey, you can use this strategy before you create your course to do it this way. If you're in the middle of creating your course, you could use the same strategy this way. Or if you've already launched your course, you could use this same strategy in this way. And so many of these 40, 45 plus strategies, I have multiple examples of how to utilize those before, during, and after. So the good thing about this masterclass, it's not like one of those fluffy webinars where they just kind of get you hyped up, or they teach you the why, but not the how. This is an in-depth training, and I'm not going to do an upsell at the end, that actually teaches you the good stuff about marketing, all right? This is a in-depth masterclass where I will give it all to you, and that's the benefit. It'll probably last about 90 minutes. It might go a little more. We'll kind of see how it goes. And honestly, when you go to the webpage at onlinecoursecoach.com/masterclass, you can sign up, learn more. You can pay directly on there. The price will be going up significantly once the masterclass is done. So once I post the recording to the website, it's going to go up. I really want to incentivize you to be there live. And if you can't be there live, if you still sign up before the event, I will give you that lower price, kind of the live price that everybody else will get when they are there live. And I also have additional masterclass topics I'll be delivering each month. I have several months planned out. I plan on actually adding more. And so you can go to onlinecoursecoach.com/masterclass to learn more about the marketing masterclass, as well as the others. We'll be talking about how to build your email list. We'll be talking 30 creative ways a course creator can grow their audience, impact an email list. Another one we'll do is rapid revenue streams. Create 20 plus additional revenue streams around your online course to explode your income. Another one is outsource your course. Learn how to find talented and affordable people to help you create your course faster and cheaper than you thought possible. I have other topics, Facebook ads, how to market your course to companies and things like that. So anyway, go to onlinecoursecoach.com/masterclass. All right, enough of that. I know that's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see you there. So let's talk about how to automate your online course marketing. Because, there are, like I said in my previous couple minutes, there are over 45 plus ways to market your course. But what are some, I almost named this simple automated ways to market your online course. Not all of these are, super simple. But the good thing is once you create the system, it is automated. All right, so the first one is create a link in your email signature. I don't know if you're like me, I send out a lot of emails. All right, so think of how many times you could market your course with every email that you send. So instead of putting nothing or putting too much, maybe links to all your social media accounts and your blog and your website and this and that, and what if you just had, thank you your name, and then an image, a graphic, text, or something that promotes your course. Now, with any marketing, you don't want to just say, hey, buy my course here. You might want to ask a question, or you might want to say, hey, are you struggling with X or Y? Check out my course. You can learn how to solve those. Or, think about your audience, your students, your customers, your clients. Why would they want to buy your course? They're not impressed that it's a course. They're not impressed that you have a course. Don't focus on the actual course, the thing itself. Focus on the solution. Focus on the problems it solves. I was just talking with my mastermind yesterday, and we were talking about this very concept. Nobody wants to just buy from you. You have to provide a solution. And so you have to speak with the language that your students have in their mind. So if they have problems, if they have concerns, if they have issues, whatever that is, you want to address those in your marketing. If you create a link in your email signature, think about rotating the text or the image every few months to keep it fresh. Maybe you take the topic of each module, and for each month, you have a kind of a promo that promotes that part of the course. So let's say you have 10 modules. Maybe module 1 is, the introduction or the mindset or, getting started or whatever that is. You could have a link in your email signature that addresses that. Hey, are you struggling with blah, blah, blah? And it addresses that and it links to your course. Now, that kind of bleeds into the next one. Oh, and before I go into the next one, so some services you could use that create really attractive email signatures. There's one called Wise Stamp. There's one that I use called New Old Stamp. Not sure what to call that. And you can create different email signatures. I mean, you could even use the built-in email signature in Gmail or Outlook or whatever you use. There are just some kind of cool ways to do that with some of these email signature creator software, or whatever you want to call that. All right. So think about, making it attractive. The basic level is, hey, just use what's built in. But I recommend kind of upping your game, making it look more professional. And so you could hire a virtual assistant to do that, maybe create the graphic or set that up for you if technology is a barrier. But I do recommend creating a link in your email signature. So that's the first automated way to market your course. I mean, with every email you send, you can market your course. Now, if you have multiple email addresses, I have more email addresses than I'd like to admit, just with some of the websites I manage. I have some that are for the client, so we can help support the client in different ways. So you can tell, I use Gmail to kind of suck in all my email accounts and send and receive as those email accounts. You can tell Gmail, hey, I only want to have this email signature for this specific email address. So you could do that as well if you have multiple email addresses. All right, so the next way to automate your course marketing is to create lead magnets on your website that have to do with your course. All right, so you could, have a specific topic, and whenever you're talking, whenever you're on a podcast or speaking or at a conference or doing, email marketing or whatever that is, you could send that lead magnet to your website. So you could put that in your email signature, So if you don't have a course yet, build your audience with a lead magnet. And then from there, you could create an autoresponder series for each lead magnet that gives them value and offers compelling reasons to buy the course. I do that with some of mine, and I use ConvertKit. So you can go to onlinecoursecoach.com/ConvertKit to learn more about ConvertKit, the benefits and all that good stuff. It's a great service. So again, it doesn't mean that you have to already have a course. Even if you don't have a course, you could create these lead magnets on your website and create an autoresponder series that gives them value and offers them reasons to buy the course if you already have a course. You could create one lead magnet based on each of your main modules. So maybe if you have 10 modules in your course, you have 10 lead magnets. And that might seem overwhelming, but just get started with one, right? And then build from there. So for each lead magnet that's based on your modules, you could give a tip, you could share a struggle, maybe that your students commonly have. You could share a mindset shift. You could do those different things in the lead magnet, and then through that you could promote the course. See, promoting things is fine, especially when you're giving value. So if you can say, hey, here's you don't say here's a lead magnet, but you say here's a resource you can use that will help you blank. And they read the resource and they're feeling all good because you've helped them. And then when you offer more help, this time, on a paid course, it's much more palatable. They trust you, they know you're the expert, and they're excited to continue learning. Now, I set up my lead magnets and my resources through Leadpages. There's some really cool things you can do. You can create these pop-up boxes, so you have a button on your website and they click the button to, sign up for the resource, and it kind of pops up and they can put in their name and email and download that immediately. So you can learn more about that at onlinecoursecoach.com/Leadpages. And so I use Leadpages and ConvertKit together because honestly, ConvertKit doesn't have very good kind of resource or lead magnet capabilities. They say they do, but honestly, they're not that good. And so I use both of those. You can see some of my resources as an example at onlinecoursecoach.com/resources. You can see those lead pages, lead boxes, and things like that. And so you could even, let's say you don't even have your course yet, you could create different resources or lead magnets based on what you think the audience or your students will want to know. And then as you see more and more people sign up for different resources, you'll kind of know, oh, people are interested in X versus Y, or people like A, B, and C, but not D, E, and F resource, whatever that is. So you can even use it to do some kind of survey building or what's the word I'm looking for? Research. There we go. That was a difficult word, right? You can use that for some research. All right. So the second way to automate your course marketing is by creating lead magnets or resources and having them on your website. Now, make sure anytime you're speaking or on a podcast or doing Facebook Live or whatever, that you are talking about that. And not every time. I shouldn't have said whenever, but I should have said, don't forget to market those lead magnets. Because yes, if it's on your website, that's great, but only so much traffic will be going to your website. You need to also kind of market the lead magnet. All right, so the third automated way to market your course is a little, it could be complicated. So, have your developer hire a virtual assistant, research this, because while it's a little more difficult, it's not impossible. All right, so I don't want to overcomplicate it. So you can do what's called an after-post template. So you can create an after-post template, which is easy when you're using WordPress, where you create a short ad or blurb or promo piece, and it gets placed after every blog post. I do this myself. So you can go to onlinecoursecoach.com. You can click on any of the podcasts and you can see, in fact, let me do this here. You can see how I have some of the things I'm promoting. So the masterclass, links to onlinecoursecoach.com/masterclass. It talks about marketing, it talks about coaching, talks about easyvideoforcourses.com. It says that, some of the links that I mentioned may contain affiliate links. I want to be above board and honest. And even in this podcast, I've mentioned some of the affiliate links that I use, I recommend, and I promote. And so, I want people to know about that. So again, with every blog post, or if you have a podcast, with every podcast, with every category or tag, that's one of the beauties of WordPress is there's so many ways to do this, is you can create something once, and after everything, you could put that in. So again, if that's too complicated, don't be afraid to hire that out to a virtual assistant. Have your developer do it. Do a little Googling or go on YouTube and search, how to create an after-post template. I think that's the word, after-post template, or how to insert something after each post, or, something like that. So there's probably plugins in WordPress that allow you to do this. I'm trying to remember when I set this up myself. I probably had one of my developers do this actually. So I'm kind of practicing what I'm preaching there. Now, the key thing to remember is if you create this template or this this promo that goes after every blog post, every podcast, whatever you have on your website. You have to make sure that you don't forget about it, right? And so if you do create one of those, revisit that. Don't forget about it. Make sure it's fresh, it's relevant. If you have a course or if you have, coaching or a service and you stop offering that, people are going to find it, at the bottom of the blog post or category or tag or whatever it is. Now, the good thing is there's not just an after post option. There's a pre-post or before the post. So you could market some things before the post. And there's several other options you can do with WordPress. I've just used after post because I want the content of the podcast or the videos or whatever I have to be front and center. And then as people read and scroll down below, they can learn more about me. They can, request coaching or request the 6-week group coaching program that I offer, things like that. Which, speaking of the group coaching, you can go to the website onlinecoursecoach.com. Under the coaching tab, there is a spot for group coaching. I'll be starting that in early 2019. As I gather applications, I already have several people kind of that have raised their hand and said, Jeff, I definitely, keep me updated on that. And so they're already in the queue. So I think I have a couple spots open if you want to go there and apply. All right, the fourth strategy to automate your course marketing is to be a podcast guest. Now, why is this so important? Well, I mean, in a way, you're borrowing the audience of that podcast. And not in a bad way. Well, I should say it's not bad if you're bringing a lot of value, if you're bringing a lot of tips and resources, if you are trying to serve their audience, then it's a no-brainer. If you have it in your mind that you're going to go on and you just want to market this course and talk about this course and, me, it's really going to be a bad interview. It's not going to be a good experience. So, you could talk about the key pain points that your course addresses. You could, talk about struggles that your students had, successes that you provided. You really want to put the content in the eyes of the listener and in the eyes of potential students. And don't just focus on your students. Whenever I'm on a podcast, I ask, who is your audience? What do they care about? What are their struggles? Where are they in their life, personal life, business life, things like that? I try to understand who they are so I can speak specifically to them. Are they technical or are they not techie at all? And so then I can address different things because there's nothing worse than either talking too high or too low to your audience. If you talk too low and they're very tech savvy, they're like, okay, we get it. We know how to do X, Y, or Z. And you're, down in the weeds explaining the minutia. Now, some strategies when you're on a podcast is you could offer that lead magnet since you've already created one, right? You could use your ConvertKit account, your Leadpages account to create a lead magnet, talk about that at the end, and have them kind of go through your autoresponder series to continue to build trust, to show that you're an expert. And then in that autoresponder series, you can promote your course. Now, you can talk about the course if it's allowed on the podcast. I always, before the show starts, before we record, I ask the person that's interviewing me, I say, hey, I have a course, called Easy Video for Courses. You can find it at easyvideoforcourses.com. Do you want me to talk about that at all or promote it or not? And many will, and some won't. Some just want it to be about value and no selling, and some don't care. So just make sure that you are aware of that. I've heard of some horror stories where the guest is promoting, and the podcast never airs because there wasn't an alignment with what the host was trying to accomplish. So again, you could be a podcast guest, get on several podcasts that have to do with your expertise, and that is a way to automate your marketing, because as those podcasts grow and build and new people are coming in, it's amazing to see. I mean, I rarely look at the stats for this podcast, but when I do, I'll look back at previous months or a year ago, and I'll still see that those numbers are climbing and people are listening to the content. They're getting a lot of value. In fact, I've had quite a few people say, hey, Jeff, I just found your podcast. I'm kind of binge listening to your podcast. And so that is pretty common for, at least for my podcast, and I think for many others. So if you just found this podcast and you're binge listening, welcome. Welcome to this podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for binge listening. All right, so let's review the first 4, and then we'll get to the 5th one. So the first 4 ways to automate your course marketing is create a link in your email signature. Number 2 is create resources or lead magnets on your website that you can market and promote even off your website on podcasts and videos and conferences and things. Number 3, a little more technical, but create an after-post template where you create a short ad or blurb or whatever, and it gets placed after every blog post. Number 4 is be a guest on podcasts. Oh, one thing I forgot to explain is, make sure that you align with the podcast. I've had a lot of really good guests here on the show. I've tried to be picky on who is on here. I've had some people reach out, and it's clearly not a good fit. They just in their verbiage, they're overhypey. I can just tell. Well, it seems like they just want to come on and talk about their course, talk about them. They really don't want to help you, the audience, and so that's always my biggest concern. So, just a little tip there. All right, and the last way to automate your course marketing is partner with people. All right, so find organizations, influencers, conferences, colleagues, companies, whatever it is, find those people, those groups of people that can sell your courses, right? Would you rather, spend a lot of time and effort selling one by one, or would you like to find and partner with somebody that could sell 10 at a time, 100 at a time, 1,000, 10,000? I mean, imagine the scale of selling your course when you can find those organizations, influencers, conferences, colleagues, whoever that is, to help you sell your course. Now, you could set it up where they get a percentage of the sales. So there's different affiliate services, affiliate networks that you can sign up for. Some of them are built on or built to work within WordPress. That's how mine is. You can go to onlinecoursecoach.com. I think it's -affiliate. Or you can go to the very, very, very bottom of my website and look at the affiliate sign up and login, and you can sell some of my products and courses and stuff. And so you can do it that way. Or if you're using like Thinkific or Teachable or many other pieces of software, many of those have affiliates built in. Now, when you're talking with an organization, an influencer, a conference, a colleague, a competitor, whoever that might be, just so you know, a typical revenue share is 50-50. That's kind of typical in the online industry. However, you don't always want to just give away the farm. So I would ask them and say, hey, conference organizer, I have this course I think would be a good fit. It could be a value add to the audience. Would you ever want to think about, offering this and selling it? If they say, no, that's really not what we do, you could say, well, what if you got a percentage of the revenue? And they could say, well, that might be interesting. And you might say, well, what might be interesting? And they might even say, 20%. Or, they might throw out something crazy. But just consider that 50-50 is kind of the normal, but you don't want to just throw that out there immediately. Now, you could give away more than 50%. If it's a very large organization or company that's going to sell tens of thousands, I'm sure you could afford to give away more than 50%. One thing to consider with affiliates and bringing more students into your course is support. How are you going to support these students? Are they the right fit for your course, the best fit for your course? I've seen it where, somebody signs up for an affiliate program and they get bombarded with students that are not their ideal students, students that try to game the system, so they try to cut corners or be dishonest, and it actually creates more headaches and hassles. So what I do with my affiliates is they fill out an application to sign up. I have to approve them. All right. So I don't just take anybody. I want it to be a good fit because I don't want the headache of some random person from who knows where going through the course, most of it, all of it, who knows what, and then saying, oh, Jeff, I didn't like the course. Can I have a refund or whatever that is? Or, taking lots of time because, they're one of those types of people. So just be aware of that. Be careful of that if or when you sign up for these affiliates. So again, the fifth tip is partner with organizations, influencers, conferences, colleagues, and competitors. And yes, I say competitors. I think you can build some goodwill. You can really create win-win situations when you work with your competitors. Now, you can even offer a podcast host an affiliate commission by promoting your course. So what I recommend is before they hit record, you want to say, hey, I have a course. And, I'm thinking about, would it be okay if I promoted it on this podcast? And they might say yes. They might say no. If they say yes, go ahead and do that. If they say no, that's when you could say, I have an affiliate program. I'd be happy to, set you up, and you could create a custom link and you could market it that way. And that might, turn the tides or help them want you to promote the course. All right, so those are just some strategies. Let's go over it one last time. The 5 strategies to automate your online course marketing. Number 1, create a link in your email signature. Number 2, create lead magnets or resources. Number 3, create an after-post template. Number 4, be a podcast guest. And number 5, partner with organizations, influencers, conferences, colleagues, and competitors to sell your course. All right, so those are the 5. I want you just to pick one. What's one strategy you can use to automate your course marketing? And again, like I said in a couple of these, even if you don't have your course yet, set up a lead magnet or create a link in your email signature or start to be a podcast guest where you can promote your lead magnet and build your audience. I find that too many people have an idea for a course, but they don't have an audience, they don't have influence, they don't have an email list, and that makes selling your course a lot more difficult. Well, hey, if you like these topics, I have tons more. Again, that masterclass is coming up here in a few weeks as I record this in January 2019. So you can go to onlinecoursecoach.com/masterclass to sign up for that. And you can sign up for the others that I'm having available. And I'm thinking about, I don't have this on the website. I'm thinking about like if you buy 4, you get a huge discount, or you get 1 free, or you get something. So be on the lookout for that if you kind of prepay for 4 or more of those. So again, go to onlinecoursecoach.com/masterclass to check that out, or it's in the menu there in the top of the website. All right, well, keep coming back to the show. Keep thinking how you can create that course. I talk to so many people that just have an idea for the course. If you have an idea, start to take action, start to get momentum, start to not just research, but talk to ideal students. That's one of the things we talk about in my 6-week group coaching program, which you can learn more at onlinecoursecoach.com/group coaching, or it's also in the main menu under coaching and courses. And we go through my proven process to kind of get off the sidelines and get in the game with creating your course. I've posted some of the different testimonials from people that have been in the group coaching. I have several people that are already ready to go. So I want you, if you're a good fit, if you're motivated, if you're wanting to finally create that course, but have been maybe overwhelmed with the technology or the time commitment, we go through my proven process to create an effective online course. All right, not one that gives 40 hours of content, but one that gives the least amount of content with the most amount of value and impact. And when I say least, I'm not saying 5 minutes. I'm saying your course does not have to be this epic multi-day event that people go through your course. It can be short, especially if it has lots of value. All right, so keep coming back to the show. Go through these resources that I've mentioned and check those out. But most importantly, check out the masterclass because that is coming up soon. And like I said, once that is done, I'll be selling it for more money than is for the live event. But if you can't be there live, sign up before the event and you can still get the live price. All right, that is all for today. I am your podcast coach, and I want to help you to teach many to impact millions.